Hi everyone and welcome to Bad Car Symptoms. The shock absorbers are a key component of your car's suspension. They help absorb all of the bumps on the road and prevent the wheels from bouncing while you're driving. When the shock absorbers are faulty, it affects the car's stability and driving performance. So, noticing this problem on time is very useful since it is a matter of safety. This video should help you with that, so stay tuned. Bad car symptoms. The ride is bouncy. One of the most obvious symptoms of bad shock absorbers is a bouncy ride. Instead of the car being stable and firm on the road while driving, it will float and bounce, especially if you, for instance, hit a pothole or a speed bump. At first, this is barely noticeable, but as the shock absorbers weaken, the ride becomes more and more bouncy. The car nose dives and squats. The next symptom is that when you brake or start driving the car, the nose of the car dives and the rear part of the car squats, depending on whether the front or rear shock absorbers are failing. The front dive is especially noticeable if you have to make an emergency braking. In this case, the nose will drastically go down. The car swings up and down when you rock it. At this point of the problem, if you were to push down the front end of the car a couple of times, the car would continue to rock up and down instead of immediately stopping. The same goes for the back end of the car if the rear shock absorbers are bad. Also, this method is a simple way to diagnose bad shock absorbers by yourself. Besides the rocking, you may also hear a whizzing sound coming from the shock absorbers when you rock the car. Less clearance in the wheel arch. Another obvious symptom of this problem that you'll easily notice is less clearance between the wheel and the wheel arch. When the shock absorber is faulty, it usually leaks oil, causing the piston of the shock absorber to sink. This means that the complete height of the strut assembly goes down. Oil leaks. Besides leaning, you may also notice leaks around the shock absorber and around it on the strut. This is also one more easy but effective way to diagnose the problem. So just take a peek into the wheel arch. If you see oil leaks and stains around the shock absorber and on the strut, the shock absorber is definitely bad and ready for replacement. A knocking sound. Finally, you will hear a knocking sound coming from the suspension, especially when you go over speed bumps. At first, the knocking sound will be barely noticeable. Later, it will be present all the time. The noise will appear even on minor bumps and holes. Bad shock absorbers are one of those car problems where you have plenty of time to notice and solve the problem. The best time to replace them is when you notice the bouncy ride. When you do, best try and rock the car up and down a bit. If it continues rocking as we've shown you, you should change the shock absorbers. At this point, you still have plenty of time to react. Avoid getting the problem to the phase where the shock absorbers have leaked or where you hear the knocking sound. At this point, the driving stability is in question. Also, the braking distance is much longer with bad shock absorbers. So that's it for this time. We hope the video helps. Please like and subscribe. It's a huge help for what we're doing. Thanks for watching and thanks for your time.